All right, I made a little video here to help walk you through what you missed in class. Okay, so these examples that we're going to go through are linked to the outline. I believe it says like click here for the examples, and then you can use it to follow along for the video. So either go to the outline and print that off and you'll have these, or if you just want to hit pause, you could always copy this down. All right, I'm going to quickly read through this problem here. Ryan bought 8 movie tickets for his family. Adult tickets cost $9 each and student tickets cost $6 each. If he spends a total of $63, set up and solve a system of equations to find how many adult tickets and student tickets he bought. All right, well, I'm going to let you know. Often you are going to read these and you are not going to know what to do when you first read it. So I want to bring your attention to step 1. All I want you to do is read the end of this again and find the question word. Find how many adult tickets and student tickets he bought. That is what our variables are going to be. So let's assign X to be the number of adult tickets, and let's assign Y to stand for the number of student tickets. Okay. So when I reread the problem, let's see if we can't start building some equations. Ryan bought 8 movie tickets for his family. Now I'm going to outline that part in blue because that part right there is going to make an equation. So if we know that he bought X adult tickets and Y adult tickets, we know that the sum of those tickets needs to equal 8. All right? Now I keep reading, and now we're talking about how much the tickets cost. $9 for adult, $6 for students, and he spends a total of $63. This second part right here is going to make our second equation. So now, if I want to set the equation equal to $63, I have to multiply the number of adult tickets by how much they cost, $9. And I multiply $6 times the number of student tickets, and that will equal $63. And so a lot of times what you see is one equation might represent like the total of the number of things, while the other equation might represent how much they're worth. So now from here, we need to figure out if we're going to use substitution or elimination. Honestly, this is a pretty easy substitution and elimination problem. So I'm just going to go ahead right here and I'm going to use substitution. I'm going to solve for X in the first equation because it will be the easiest. And we're going to subtract the Y over to the other side. So now all I need to do is take the X equals 8 minus Y and substitute that in down here for X. So it goes 9, replace the X with 8 minus Y, and then we write the rest of the equation down, plus 6Y equals 63. All right, let's take it from here and get your calculator. Let's multiply. We get 72 minus 9Y plus 6Y equals 63. Combine like terms, 72 minus 3Y equals 63. Okay? So good place too, if you wanted to, like hit pause, you could always, kind of work through the problem on your own. If you're going to stay with me here, then let's go ahead and subtract 72. So keep that negative in front of the 3Y. And 63 minus 72 is going to make negative 9. So when we divide both sides by negative 3, what we come up with is our first variable, and that is Y equals 3. Now, let's find an easy spot to plug in the Y equals 3 so that we can figure out what X is equal to. Okay. So I like this equation right here. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it. I like this equation right here. I think that's probably the best place to plug it back in. And so basically, if it's X plus 3 that equals 8, well, then I think we can kind of quickly see that X is equal to 5. So the last thing that we need to do is we need to give our solution in context, meaning it's not okay for these problems when they ask you how many adult tickets and how many student tickets to just say X equals 3 or X equals 5 and Y equals 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back up here and remember that X was adult tickets. So this means that Ryan bought 5 adult tickets and the Y was representative of the student ticket, so he bought 3 student tickets, okay? And I feel pretty confident about my answer because I get nice, whole numbers in this situation, and they do add up to 8, okay? So let's take a look at the next problem. Again, when you read it, please do not think that when you read it for the first time, you're going to know exactly what to do. The whole purpose of reading it is to figure out what is the problem about and what are my variables. All right. North Face was having a sale on winter apparel. Andrew bought 2 pairs of gloves and 4 hats for $43. Katie bought 3 pairs of gloves and 2 hats for $38.50. Write a system of equations to find the cost for a pair of gloves and hat. So that right there is what I'm going to assign for X and Y. X is going to be the cost of gloves, and Y is going to be the cost of the hat. Okay. Really and truly, please do not skip over this step, okay? The students in class that were having trouble writing the equations, it was because they didn't know what their variables were in the first place. Now we go back into the problem and we reread it a little bit slower. Andrew bought 2 pairs of gloves and 4 hats for $43. That right there is going to be an equation. So 2 pairs of gloves times X, the cost of gloves, plus 4 hats times its cost, and that will equal a total of $43. The next sentence here, Katie bought 3 pairs of gloves and 2 hats for $38.50. And so Katie here, 3 times the cost of gloves plus 2 hats times the cost, and she spent $38.50. So now we have our system of equations. So now the second part of this is going to be, how do we want to solve it? This particular problem, because every single variable has a coefficient, I think elimination is going to be a good choice for this, okay? So what I'm going to do here is we are going to use elimination. I'm going to actually get rid of that. You know what? I think we're just going to eliminate the X. Let's just eliminate the X. So maybe if I make this first variable a positive 6X, we could then make the bottom variable a negative 6X. So let's go ahead and rewrite our new equations after we multiply every single number, even the 43. We're going to multiply that by 3 also. Okay? And that's going to equal 129. Now this bottom equation, let's multiply every single number by negative 2. So minus 4y and 38.5 times negative 2 is going to make negative 77. The purpose of elimination is once we have the opposites, we need to add our equation. These will eliminate. 12y plus negative 4y is going to make 8y, and 129 plus negative 77 is 52. All right, so we're going to divide both sides by 8, and let's see what we get here. 52 divided by 8, and we get 6.5. So we need to think about, is that reasonable that we would get 6.5? Well, the reason it is because your X, again, is the cost of the gloves. And it is reasonable that the gloves could cost $6.50. Okay, so that's why it's important to understand what your answer means. Let's go back and let's plug in our 6.5 back in. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and use the blue equation here. 2x plus 4. Let's take out the y and replace the y with 6.5. And then let's go ahead and set that equal to 43. So just real quick, multiplying 4 times 6.5. So this is going to be 2x. This multiplied makes 26. All right, so we got a pretty simple equation to solve. Let's subtract 26 from both sides, and we're going to get that 2x is equal to 17, and 17 divided by 2 is going to be, let's see here, 8.5. And again, is that 8.5 reasonable? And the answer is yes. So when I go back over this, remember we are assigning X to be the cost of gloves. So we would say that the gloves cost $8.50. Again, that's what it means to give your answer in context. It's explain a little bit better about what your answer means instead of just saying y equals 6.5. What this means is hats is $6.50. All right, so you're going to see a couple problems that are like that. Well, there's one more type of problem that you're going to see, and these are the number problems. All right, so the last example we're going to do is a number problem. So let's just read it real quick. The sum of two numbers is 58. One of the numbers is 4 more than twice the other number. Write and solve a system of equations to find the numbers. So these we tend to read, and I feel like all the information kind of spirals in our head, and we don't know where to start. Like I always said, let's start with the variables. Well, we have two numbers. So let's just call x the first number, and let's just call y the second number. Okay? It's kind of a lack of a better term for this. So we've got a first number and a second number. Well, what do we know first about the two numbers? We know that the sum of the two numbers is 58. Oops. So if I add together the first number plus the second number, that's going to equal 58. Take a look at the second sentence. One of the numbers is 4 more than twice the other number. All right, these I feel like always can look a little intimidating. It says one of the numbers is. I'm going to let one of the numbers be x. Is stands for equals. And then I read it, and it says one of the numbers is. I'm literally going to put the term right on top of the word. 4 more than. Twice means times 2, the other number is y. Okay? So a lot of times we don't really need to do a lot of thinking or inferring. We just need to read the words and write the algebra equivalent of those words. All right, so now it comes time to solve. And when I look at this and I see that we already have x equals 4 plus 2y, this to me is a perfect substitution problem, because what we can do is come up to the other equation and replace the x with what x equals. So we're going to come up here and take out the x and replace it with 4 plus 2y. Then don't forget we need to write the rest of the equation down, which is plus y equals 58. All right, so now we got this nice little equation to solve. This is going to be 4, and I can combine a 2y and a 2y, I'm sorry, a 2y plus y to make 3y. All right, let's keep solving. Subtract 4 from both sides. 3y equals 54, and finally 54 divided by 3 is going to be 18. So that means that one of the numbers is 18. The second number, okay, so I'm going to come right here. I feel like this right here would be a good place to plug it back in. So let's come here and write x plus, let's substitute 18 in for y, and that equals 58. So 58 minus 18, and we get x equals 40. So here's how I'm going to write our final answer, is I think in this case, it would be appropriate to say, find the numbers. The numbers are 40 and 18. All right, and it really doesn't matter which one's first and which one's second. So that's just a little preview. You have an assignment linked to the outline, and your goal is to work through some of these to write the equation and then to have to solve the equation. Okay, so hopefully this helps, and just email me if you, or text remind me if you have any questions. All right, thanks, bye.